Like I walked into a circus.
It's amazing, isn't it? 9:15 this morning here on OTB AM. It's time for Deal or No Deal. We start in the managerial merry-go-round. News from Barcelona, which could have big implications for the Premier League. Catalunya Radio report that Barca have made contact with Mauricio Pochettino about the 47-year-old replacing Ernesto Valverde as manager. Now, you might have been forgiven for thinking Valverde had actually already been sacked, but he hasn't. He is still the Barcelona manager. Xavi has apparently turned down the gig. Ronald Koeman has apparently turned down the gig. Ronald Koeman would be a very, very bad manager of Barcelona right now. Is Poch more likely to be the next Barcelona head coach or to succeed Ole at Old Trafford?
I would say more likely at Old Trafford, because he used to manage Espanyol, doesn't want to manage Barcelona because he said he'd prefer to work on his farm in Argentina than go and work in certain places. So that would include Barcelona and Arsenal, for example.
Right.
So I'd be very surprised if that happened.
Does that change if Barcelona really come hard and say, look, we understand you've got a track record with our city rivals, but no one cares about our city rivals. They're Espanyol.
That's not a Barcelona thing to do. Barcelona are the most up themselves club in world football. They're totally worth being up themselves. They've got a lot to love about themselves, but they realise it more than any other club. So if one club is going to realise what it means to be a manager of a rival club, then it's Barcelona. And on top of that, they will have the sort of...
Is this not the type of thing that squashes your little cross-town city rival? Oh, look at this guy, he's one of your favourite guys. We've got him. Look, you can't even keep him. You can't even keep him hating us properly.
On the flip side, they'll have this nostalgic version of Ronald Koeman banging in an amazing free kick in 1992 or whatever it is, and that is the version of Ronald Koeman they see. They don't see the flailing Ronald Koeman battling with Everton fans on Instagram because he posted a red Christmas tree and then his Everton career ending in disaster. That is not the Ronald Koeman that they will see.
Ronald's doing all right now, though. The reason Ronald's not leaving is because he's got the Euros to win in 2020.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win the Euros.
No. Maybe
Nathan
not.
does, but I don't think he is. Right, so if I'm Pochettino's agent, I'm putting this story out to try and get Man United to get their finger out.
Yeah, this could be good timing as well, because, you know, United go to Anfield on next Sunday, and remember the last time they went to Anfield, they ended up sacking Jose Mourinho. So could lightning strike twice? The only way they're going to get rid of Solskjaer is if they get an absolute hammering next Sunday.
Question for you, if you're a Man United fan, are you short-term paining a 5 or 6-0 for the long-term gain of getting Pochettino? Or are you like, no matter what happens, I cannot take getting hammered by this team at Anfield?
Well, cast your mind back to that game last December. So that's
back into it in the second half.
And
what was the score?
It was 3-1. It was 3-1 in the end to Liverpool. So Liverpool gifted United a goal. Lingard, a rare mistake from Alisson, and then Shaqiri came off the bench and scored a couple of goals. But I remember the lead up to that game. There's a lot of United supporters in our office, and I'm not going to name names, but some of them said, I would take
Tommy.
I would take a hiding. No, it wasn't Tommy actually. I would take a hiding off Liverpool if it meant the end of Jose Mourinho. So I wonder would the same apply this weekend. But see, the problem here is United fans see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a club legend, which he is for what he did on the pitch.
Yeah.
But slowly but surely,
Liverpool fans are like,
in
listen,
decline.
let me tell you a story about Graham Souness, right? Let me just tell you a bit of a story about him. And even Kenny the second and third times.
Why do we keep bigging up this Manchester United job?
Because it's one of the biggest jobs in world football. You get paid loads of money, and you've got a massive transfer budget, and you've got well, it would be if you organised it properly. Look at the history of the club. It's like the Liverpool gig wasn't that great a gig until Brendan Rodgers made it a good gig, Rafa Benitez made it a good gig, and
look what happened.
Klopp made it a great gig.
But there was reorganisation above their head. There was better recruitment. Manchester United is not ripe for picking as a manager who wants to make the club better at the moment.
Well, if you come in and you have your recruitment team and your scouting team in place, and you know exactly how that's supposed to work, then you're just saying these are the teams, these are the players that we need, and we're going to get rid of. Like we have big assets that we can sell. You will get money for Jesse Lingard from some team newly promoted to the Premier League. You will get money for Martial if you want to sell him. You'll get money for Pogba. You'll get money for De Gea. You'll be able to recalibrate that squad pretty quickly with the right philosophy behind you.
Yeah. Plus, if I know a lot of people say, "Oh, look, Solskjaer is the victim of what's gone on at United before him," and some of that may be true. But you can't tell me that if Pochettino was given the United job tomorrow, he wouldn't do a better job than Solskjaer. At times you watch United, you just don't know what their plan is. Now, you know what they'll do at Anfield next Sunday, where they'll just try and play in the counter-attack. That's fine. Because
Yeah,
they have
they're okay
players.
with that, yeah.
But I don't buy it. Like, I wouldn't read anything into the Norwich game because Norwich are hopeless. Norwich were everyone's favourites to go down, and that's exactly where they're going to go. Not because Daniel Farke's a bad manager, but they just don't have the quality, and they play a certain way which suited United. But Pochettino, if he was to come in, would have to be stronger than Solskjaer. But nobody wants to speak out against the Glazers or against Ed Woodward because then you lose your job.
Yeah, well, that's
Solskjaer, it must be killing him. He's, he loves the club and he's just looking on, and he's probably thinking, I need players. Ed, any chance you could do this for me? And Woodward is too busy trying to sort out that noodle sponsorship.
Well, he's got a team to sort out the noodle sponsorship, and they're doing a great job. That commercial team at Manchester United are best in class. Which
Well, how come Ed Woodward is never linked to other clubs? How come other football clubs don't come in looking to get the services of Ed Woodward?
Right, 21 minutes past 9. Remaining in Spain, El Desmarque report that Liverpool are preparing to make a 90 million transfer move from Barcelona forward Ousmane Dembele. How legitimate do we believe that possibility is, and where would he fit into club's philosophy and the club's wage structure?
Well, if they were going to sign him, he obviously becomes their highest paid player. So how does that go
Does
down?
he?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was...
How much is Salah on?
But I think what the figure out there is 200,000 a week.
Right, so 100 netto.
And you're looking at, I think Dembele at the moment is, when he signed, because he was only 19 or 20 when he signed for Barca, wasn't it 250 grand he was getting?
Right.
So you'd have a guy coming in that, unbelievable talent, has had a stuttering career at Barcelona so far because of injuries. So you wonder, I don't think it would be an issue if he hit the ground running, but you're looking at someone like Virgil van Dijk, the document that was kind of doing the rounds there a few weeks ago with all their wages, he's on 150 grand a week.
Right.
Now that was
needs
something he got. He needs a pay rise. He'll get his pay rise because, and I'm sure he's probably been told, look, let's try and get over the line this season, win the Premier League, then we'll sit down and we'll start negotiating new deals. And I'm sure there's a few players in that situation. I wonder, like, you're looking at the front three of the players that, like, I still think Mane is the best of the front three, but he's the one that seems to always get linked with that move to Real Madrid. Firmino doesn't. Salah has obviously been linked with moves away. So if they were going to replace Salah or Mane, which I can't imagine Salah or Mane, I can't imagine Mane leaving. Salah, I think, would be more likely to leave than Mane.
I think that happens quickly when an agent rings and says, I've got $500,000 a month, $500,000 a week for you, as opposed to whatever you're on.
Yeah, and look,
the offer is so spectacular that he goes and says, look, we've won a Champions League, we've won a league, I want to go and make my money.
And, we don't know until Liverpool win a Premier League that could change, that could move the goalpost for a few of those players, saying they came here to work under Jurgen Klopp to win trophies, and if they win a Premier League off the back of winning a Champions League, then maybe. But I don't think it would panic Liverpool fans because they've been so good on the transfer market. They think, okay, you lose. Like Coutinho is the prime example. Everyone thought, Liverpool are making these great strides under Klopp, and they're after selling who at the time was perceived their best player. And
yeah, he had been so in and out of the team though, hadn't he?
Well, he was suffering from back problems, but I don't think they were as severe as Kevin Kilbane's back injuries.
They definitely weren't, and they'd been fine without him. So you've seen what that team was like without him. Yeah. I think that if two of those front three were to go over the next 18 months, there would be a drop-off. But anyway, okay, so we don't think that's possible at the moment. A final note from Barcelona. Suarez has undergone keyhole surgery on his knee and is out for 4 months, so this might have some transfer implications. We'll keep an eye on that one. La Gazzetta dello Sport report that Spurs playmaker Christian Eriksen has agreed to deal with Inter until 2024, worth $6.5 million per year. Tottenham expect to net $17 million if that deal goes through. Have Spurs made a mistake here? They sit 9 points off fourth.
I think the general feeling was at the end of last season that he was gone, and he threw his shirt into the crowd, which a few players did after the game on Saturday against Liverpool. It wasn't just Eriksen, but he almost played like it was a lap of honour because he didn't do much. And I was surprised to see him in the starting 11. When you saw Eriksen and Winks in central midfield, for Spurs, you thought, I don't really know what Mourinho's hoping to achieve with those lads in there, because they're just so lightweight. They're decent footballers, but Liverpool's midfield is built for purpose and
muscular,
to run over teams. And I just think Eriksen, obviously, it was interesting a few comments he made after they beat Ajax in the Champions League last season. He effectively said we shouldn't have beaten them, we were lucky. And it was almost just that feeling that he realised that the best of this team is been and gone. When they were finishing runners-up to Chelsea, when they were coming third in that 2-horse race to Leicester,
yeah,
they somehow still managed to finish behind Arsenal that season. But they were the best years for the likes of Eriksen and for Spurs and Pochettino.
So take the money now, get rid of him, off you go.
Yeah,
because he's phoning it in.
Yeah, absolutely, and just get him out of the club. And you know, Inter Milan isn't a bad move for them. They're second in the league. They drew at the weekend, so they're 2 points behind Juventus. But
6.5 million per year figure seems to be a net figure from one of the.
I never really bought into how he was getting linked with Barca or Real Madrid. Never thought he was that good.
No, he's not a Real Madrid player.
No.
He's a Real Madrid sub, and if you're going to get him for free, you might take him. But the Metro believes that Jack Grealish could be on his way to Manchester City. He's a 24-year-old English young gun, more likely to move to the blue or red side of Manchester.
I wonder, is this the old classic? Let him get linked to City, panic United into paying more money. And I think he'd be more suited to playing for United in terms of if they're looking for that kind of player. City obviously want players in midfield that are able to pass it zippy. Now, we don't see Greenish can do that, but
he probably can. Yeah,
he just doesn't do it with Villa because he gets the ball and he has to. Well, he's not going to be passing it to Danny Drinkwater because he won't get it back. Drinkwater. Yeah, he.
What a great move that was.
Plenty. Well, we talked about him last week on Deal or No Deal. Was he the man?
No.
To keep Villa up?
Turns out.
And after about half an hour yesterday, the answer was a big fat no. But I think with Grealish, it's just a case of finish out the season. There'll be offers on the table for him, and.
Go where you're going to play every week. That's what he needs to do at this stage of his career. Go and play every week and become a great player over the next 3 years. And if if it's not Man City or Man United, it could be Spurs. You could play 3 years for Spurs.
I think if Villa stay up, I think he'll stay with Villa.
I do too, but I don't think they're going to stay up at this stage. They're only a point off. But
Pepe Reina, apparently.
I'm not sure we get to that. Well, yeah, so we had an update on that last week, but it looks like it's going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he would have made a huge difference yesterday, but also with Villa, losing to City, they were always losing to City. It's a case of hopefully they didn't suffer too much of a confidence loss.
Psychological issue, yeah. All right, Chelsea want Brighton centre-back Lewis Dunk, but are being asked to shell out 50 million quid for the defender. That's according to the Times. Can you see this deal happening, and would it be good or bad for Shane Duffy's career? Duncan Duffy was, a thing for a while last season. It's disappeared this year, really. Yeah,
well, Graham Potter has had Shane Duffy out of the team. Obviously, at times as well, they've played three at the back. So the Duncan Duffy, the donut franchise that surely has to be built in Brighton. Maybe they want
Chelsea now. Maybe
they put that one on hold. But if you're getting 50 million for Lewis Dunk, if you're Brighton, you take that. Decent player, but not 50 million. Great for Shane Duffy though.
It is now, yeah, because he'd get back in the team.
They're getting sucked into the relegation battle as well.
Yeah, so they're 3 points clear of relegation at the moment. They're in 14th, but they're only 3 points clear. One transfer rumour that just won't go away is Sporting Lisbon star Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United. The latest is the English club are willing to put 65 million cash on the table after a cash plus trade package. 65 million including cash plus trade involving one of Rojo, Pereira or Angel Gomez.
Who would you take? Probably...
No, I read that completely wrong. 65 million cash straight up. The good people at Sporting Lisbon were like, screw your Marcus Rojo, screw your Joel Pereira, screw your Angel Gomez. They're not interested in that, so it's 65 cash straight.
Yeah, and he would definitely make a huge difference to United.
Straight away?
Yeah, no, he's ready, he's good to go. He scored a couple of goals for Sporting at the weekend. I've seen him playing in the Europa League this season. There's definitely a feeling that he's all this ability, but he's just biding his time. And I just wouldn't have much confidence, though, in United getting that deal done.
He's 25.
They struggle to get deals done in August. They got 3 done in the end, but when the pressure's on in January, I just don't have much faith in them getting it done.
Do you remember the Fellaini deal? That's like the everybody should just keep going back to that. Fellaini available for a lower price at the start of the summer. They wait and then pay more at the end of the summer to get him, when it would have been better for everybody to get him in at the lower price and have him do the pre-season training and adapt to the demands of the club. That was the hallmark of a club being badly mismanaged.
Harry Maguire, they spent all summer trying to negotiate and they paid exactly what the asking price was at the start of the summer.
Right, according to the Sunday Mirror, Manchester United could have signed Ajax's Donny van de Beek last summer for 20 million but didn't. It's believed the English club backed down when it became clear that Pogba would stay in Manchester. He's now expected to join Real Madrid for 46.8 million. The 22-year-old has commented on the rumours. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I will remain at Ajax this season and maybe next season as well. These reports about Real Madrid and Manchester United are a good sign, but it's not important now. I've said I will stay at Ajax and I will do so 100%. Of the Ajax class of 2019, who's going to have the best career is my question here.
Is it just a case of being between De Ligt and De Jong?
You would have thought so. De Jong is going to have the better career.
Well, if, for example, Xavi gets the Barcelona job and he takes Frankie de Jong under his wing and said, this is how you play the role, then he could be unbelievable.
Why are you writing De Ligt off so quickly?
It's nothing to do with writing De Ligt off. It's to do with doing the opposite to De Jong. And, like, playing in that midfield, playing in that club with the players around you. Midfielders tend to excel, I would have thought. Now,
those of them fall by the wayside, though.
Plus, midfielders are sexier.
Well, but it's just that he's gone to learn Catenaccio, having emerged as one of the best young ball-playing centre-backs that we've seen. And he's going to grow alongside Van Dijk at the international level, no?
Well, that is a good point. And, I mean...
It's like the perfect career arc for a 21-year-old defender.
It's true, and I think that probably De Ligt did take over from De Jong as the poster boy of that Ajax team as the season went on last year. I just think that...
Is Van de Beek any good?
Yeah, he was good. He was obviously one of the ones that caught the eye, as a lot of them did in the Champions League last season. I seem to remember the game against Juventus as well. And obviously he would have played against Real Madrid, so they'd have a fair idea what kind of player they're getting. But yeah, if you're going for Real Madrid or Manchester United at this...
You got for Real Madrid.
Yeah, you got for Real Madrid.
One last update. Crystal Palace and Italian side Lazio have joined the race to sign 34-year-old Manchester United fullback Ashley Young. He has also been offered an 18-month contract by Inter Milan. Would he be a good option for Palace to have at this point in the squad?
Perhaps it's...
Yeah, they're light in numbers. Like, they brought Tosin in and he ends up coming on against Arsenal. So they don't have the biggest squad, but if you're Ashley Young, if you're leaving Manchester United, go to Inter Milan. Unless he wants to go back to London.
Well, they are playing Kelly at right back at the moment, Crystal Palace. Ashley Young might get a right back, I should say. Ashley Young probably gets into that. Do you know who might actually become like a bit of a dark horse for the summer when you talk about Palace fullbacks is Riedewald, the left back, who was unbelievable on Saturday and has been playing really well this year. That could become the story of the summer about Manchester United looking for a Crystal Palace fullback.
There you go. It's a bit of scouting from Owen Sheehan at the end of Deal or No Deal.